Hello, good evening, and welcome everyone. It is Friday night, and we're doing our regular thing that happens on Friday nights, which is we are recording Australian Transformers Weekly. We are bringing you Transformers news from around the world and across Australia with Australian accents. Well, most of us anyway. This is episode 246. I've already found one thing that Brad didn't update in the run sheet. We are recording live on Friday, 17th of September 2021. This week we'll be talking about a new collaborative Transformers that wants to suck your energon. A bunch of new leaks and early in-hand photos, and Brad was kind enough to put a pin story in the run sheet for me, but I still removed the statue story. All that and more is coming up in this week's episode after this. Good evening, hello, and welcome. This is episode 246. Joining me from slightly south of my current location, we have Daria coming to us from Canberra. ACT is in lockdown, so you are my lockdown buddy tonight. How are you doing?
Indeed, yep. Well, locked down for a good while yet, so hi out there. This is the most
Apparently
human contact I've had for a week.
Speaking of buddies, we also have Brad coming to us from an undisclosed location somewhere in country Victoria, and Brad has a buddy with him in lockdown there as well. Come on, Brad, bring the dog back up. Yes.
It's been a long time. Last time she was a puppy, and now she's just a baby.
No, last time she was a puppy, now she just really wants you to put her down.
Yes, it's like I want to go sleepy. I want to go sleep.
Oh, what a little kitty! And you have to remind us all of the dog's name.
It's Roxy. Roxy the Jack Russell.
What a beautiful girl! Like you've actually managed to turn off the one listener that we had watching live. I don't know why, but like if someone doesn't want to watch a dog live, then that's I'm happy for them to not watch. It's okay.
Yes, hello, welcome to Canine Corner, the podcast.
Yes. Maybe there's a cat watching.
My cat is probably outside the study door wondering why I've shut it, but yeah.
I was going to say, have you got a laptop on downstairs where he's watching?
Yes, possibly.
No, like Dracula, I've also risen from a slumber and have awoken to come on the show tonight.
We are starting slightly late for a number of reasons, but one of them is that as we were meeting up in our little StreamYard configuration before the show started, I did sort of jokingly just think, I wonder if Brad's fallen asleep, and then Brad put a message in the group saying, "I've fallen asleep. I'll be back. I'll be there soon."
Yes, I was good until I lay down on the couch, and yes, next minute, oh shit,
I'm good until I lay down on the couch as well. I try not to do it these days.
Yeah, you're going to as soon as you do it.
Yeah, do you know what I'm going to do after this? I'm actually going to go lay down on the couch, and I'm going to watch the new He-Man series on Netflix.
You're going to try to. We'll see how far you get.
Well, so here's the thing. Which He-Man series are you talking about?
I was assuming
there's
the Kevin
two.
Series.
No,
Kevin
so there's two,
Smith
right?
one.
So there's Revelation, which is the Kevin Smith one, came out like a week before Kingdom came out. I loved it. I thought it was great fun. But there's a brand new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's animated by DreamWorks. It's a very different take on everything. And it looks like it's going to be super fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've heard some fun early reactions and people really enjoying it on Twitter. So yeah.
Is that out already?
Yeah, I think it dropped today or yesterday.
I thought it was a ways off yet. Oh my god.
No, actually, I think
Netflix?
it dropped tonight. It's Friday the 17th. So yeah, I think it came on at about 7 p.m.
Oh,
Is it
I'm gonna go
Netflix
check
as
that
well?
out later.
Yeah, I'm surprised Daria hasn't just logged off and gone to watch it. But yes. So yeah, I am going to check it out later. It looks fun. It's very, very different if you're a Motu fan. So yeah,
Yes.
I have been importing some Masters of the Universe toys for members of TCCA. So like I'm slowly being dragged kicking and screaming towards Masters of the Universe as a thing that I'm familiar with, but I'm just not interested in the toys.
Yes. And my earlier comments were not any shade on the series itself. It's just I thought by the time we finished recording, you might be falling asleep as well. Not because of the quality of the show, just because of what time of night it'll be.
Well, we have been known to go on at some length, so possibly. But I mean, look, Masters of the Universe Revelation has been quite controversial amongst Motu fans. So yeah, it's I enjoy it, but I'm also not that into Masters of the Universe, and I understand that some people have had issues with it. So yeah. Anywho, let's not get into Masters of the Universe controversy. Let's try to stick only to Transformers-based controversies tonight. I think there's plenty of them going around in the fandom on a weekly basis, but we're gonna try and steer the good ship ATW through the muddy waters of Transformers controversies, and hopefully make it out the other side in one piece. I think I've stretched that analogy way too far. One last thing, Brad, you're in lockdown as well, are you, or are you free?
No, I'm semi-free. There's some local areas that are being locked down, so I'm.
So because this is Friday the 17th of September, it has been announced in Victoria that people are allowed to gather for picnics this weekend. Have you heard this?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I don't know how many houses have 12 adults, but yeah,
certainly not mine. But I've also noted that one of the conditions on gathering for a picnic is that you're not allowed to consume alcohol. And that
Thank you, dog.
I believe Roxy is having the appropriate reaction.
yes.
This is actually really good. I'm going to have to tweet. I'm going to have to tweet to Triple Takeover that we have our own dog to interrupt the podcast now.
Oh, look at its mane! Oh, you big bad guard dog. Yes. Yeah. Stop being able to drink and have a mask up is definitely.
Well, so I saw a thing saying, this is all Victoria promising that they won't drink at picnics this weekend. The Agatha Harkness wink from WandaVision.
Well, I suppose it's just a good thing that the grand final will be, after dark. So those that can watch it out in the park will be in curfew by then anyway. So
yeah, that's true. All right, look, let's get started, and we'll talk about some news. We've been going through life thinking that it's pretty quiet in terms of Transformers news, but we have a fairly well packed schedule of things to talk about tonight. So let's kick it off. I'm going to bring in the news screen share, which is sitting on the 20-year anniversary of Transformers: Robots in Disguise. This year and today. I was going to say today in particular. It was actually a week ago, but we didn't do it. We didn't do a show then. The 20-year anniversary of Robots in Disguise. I have to admit, I've never seen an episode of Robots in Disguise. I'm pretty sure that Brad is in the same boat, which means that it falls to Daria to save us and celebrate the 20th anniversary of RID. So tell us a little bit about your feelings about the show, Daria.
This RID, it's kind of a weird thing because now we're used to Transformers completely having a do-over every few years and coming up with new ways of thinking about Cyberverse or the War for Cybertron trilogy or animated, and we're used to cycling through, but this came out when we weren't really doing that yet. And I think that's what left some people at the time a bit guarded about it, because it's hard to credit now, but at the time, everything before that had been Generation 1 leading into Beast Wars, leading into Beast Machines, and there was still a rough kind of progression. But this going right back to scratch, also that it was kind of hard to watch, kind of hard literally to tune in to watch it, both in the US and here. So at the time, I think a lot of fans simply just didn't see it. And I think that also has caused it to historically drop through the cracks.
It does.
And-
It is kind of one of the series that when you sort of look at the pantheon of Transformers series, it's like, oh, that also exists.
Yeah, well, I mean, Generation 1 and Beast Wars are still huge. And in terms of literal size, the Unicron trilogy went on for a few years. As I said, we have Cyberverse and things after it, but this is almost literally just 1 year worth of show. And it was basically yanked over from a Japanese produced show to fill in the gap while Hasbro decided to do what to do next after Beast Machines.
And Beast Machines was itself not particularly well received as well.
Yeah, which is part of why they were going to. I think they originally were going to press on past Beast Machines, and then they sort of it's just kind of wearing a bit thin. Let's take a year off and invent Armada, and in that missing year, we get this, which is a self-contained. It's a semi-serialized anime series, heavily reworked for the Western market, redubbed, and random new graphics and things popped in. And I won't dwell on this too much, but one of the things which broke it up at the time was that its transmission was right through when 9/11 happened in September 2001. And that
Also a
caused
notable anniversary, yes.
And that caused a lot of episodes of this to be not shown because people were saying, look, 9/11 just happened. And also yanked and reworked because it's like, oh, there's buildings blowing up in this episode. That's too close to 9/11. We don't want to freak people out. Better censor and rework that. This is too close to that. And so a bunch of episodes has basically disappeared into the ether, not to resurface except for a few foreign screenings and eventually on a UK DVD set years and years later.
Yeah, wow.
It's not a bad series. I think for a lot of people, and I'm including this, it has what some anime do of dipping randomly into childishness in what otherwise appears to be a serious story, which can be distracting and off-putting. I think it actually held together better than some of the components of the Unicron trilogy, but there was, the tone was a bit all over the place. We had wacky henchmen next to basically stone cold killers, and they weren't kind of played in the same way. So you're going, oh, is this like a serious episode, or is this like Gas Skunk tries to marry a cement mixer or something?
Fair enough. I mean, so it is one of those shows. I guess, like I said, it's one of those things that people consider, oh, that's also a thing that exists. I actually didn't realize it was only one year or one season. So that sort of makes me feel like going out and hunting it down a little bit more. So,
yes.
But
those 39 episodes are on a 2-pack UK DVD. I'm not sure if it's in print, but I think that's the only official release of the whole series.
I don't have anything in my house that can play a DVD.
Surely you got a laptop that's got a DVD player and a computer.
Nah, I got a MacBook Air. Man.
It's one of those shows.
Drive, does it?
No. It's one of those shows with all the rights tangled up, and as you can imagine, a 20-year-old single-season Transformers series that most fans can't even remember is not high on the legal people's list to unravel and rush into a home release.
Yeah. So do you have any of the toys from it in your collection? I actually do, but I'm going to go last. Daria, do you?
No. At the time, I was even more fiction first, to the point of being fiction only, and simply didn't buy any of the toys. And in fact, if any of the characters don't have toys, I probably don't even know about it at this point. I mean, I know there's been Skybite toys since, but I think basically him and memories of Sideburn harassing a motorist are the lasting legacy this series has had on fandom.
Fair enough too.
Which is a shame
Yeah.
because there are a lot of other good ideas in there.
Well, I guess some of us will probably want to go and track it down and experience it for ourselves. Brad, do you have any of the toys from the series in your collection?
Not from this RID, no.
No.
I just wonder too if this is the stepping off point to Hasbro doing the simple reboot every time they do a cartoon series. Yes, Beast Wars and Beast Machines was a far cry from G1, but it was still set in the same universe. Where here we're just going to do this. We're going to get another reboot 2 or 3 years later with the Unicron trilogy, and then reboot again with animated, reboot again with Prime, and just off we go.
I feel like as any franchise sort of comes of age and it's either going to end or continue, it's going to face the reboot question, right?
Yeah.
And this is sort of that moment, I think, for Transformers. Like, they could produce more stuff that, you know, sort of referenced G1 and referenced more G1, and then sort of things end up referencing themselves, or wipe it clean, take a clean slate. And then when it works, you know, that you do it again, you know, a year or so later with Armada, and then you go, oh, hey, actually this works. We can tell the story, and then we can reboot it
and make one hell of a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah.
Yep. Well said.
Absolutely.
But also too, like they had what did you say, 39 episodes, one season of TV, 39 episodes, produced more content than what the Prime Siege, War for Cybertron, all this new crap has, and had a lot more character development, better voice acting, better animation. Maybe we'll leave that on the fence because we need to see it. But yeah, all that from one season.
Yeah, so that's a very 2021, probably, you know, 2015 onwards kind of thing though, is producing less content. I mean, you know, there's in years gone by, Star Trek would produce 26 episodes a season because 2 seasons would get them to the syndication amount. Yeah. But these days that's less of a concern because, you know, Netflix is just funding seasons of things, so you end up with, you know, nice, neat, you know, 6 or 10 or 12 episode seasons of things. And yeah, like I think these days people probably expect to see less episodes in a season. You know, I mean, like you mentioned, Masters of the Universe Revelation earlier, 5 episodes in a season. I think it's actually more acceptable these days that there's less episodes in a season and possibly just a varying number.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been the case in the United Kingdom for ages, just shorter seasons.
It's true. Yeah. That's true. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from RID. Let's also mention that this week is in fact G1's birthday. It is the first episode of G1 was broadcast 37 years ago this week. Just in case the 20-year anniversary of RID didn't make you feel old enough, 37 years ago, some of us were watching cartoons in front of the TV on a Saturday morning. Let's move on. Let's move on to talk about some news and some figures. What do we got for news? We got some figure releases this week. Actually, this week and the last couple of weeks. I'll cover them off quickly. I'm actually gonna take the news screen share out while we talk about these quickly. So Kingdom Road Rage, I think we mentioned, was released on the 1st of this month in overseas markets. I have had a lot of Road Rages land in my living room because I've been supplying them for TCCA members. So, yeah, my apartment is very Road Ragey. And also the second of 2 that we know about, Battle Across Time sets with Sideswipe and Skywarp featuring in it. And we'll talk about them a little bit more when it comes to acquisitions later on. We've also seen leaks. I say leaks. Sorry, we've seen early reveals of Kingdom Waspinator and Shadow Panther. Those figures have made it to market in a number of places. Notably, the first place on the planet that put them on the shelves in a store that was reported at least was in Chile. in a specialty comic store there. So someone dutifully took photos of them and spread it around the internet. Then they started turning up at US retail. Now it is interesting because these guys are figures that were identified as Wave 4 Deluxes for Kingdom, but they appear to have been released on their own at the moment, which could indicate that Wave 4 is going to be a little bit different or spread out, or maybe some not quite a full wave or something. It's hard to tell. Usually when a new wave of figures is released, you would get a wave assortment box with 8 figures. And in this case, we were expecting Pipes, Slammer, Waspinator, and Shadow Panther. So you would expect to see 2 of those in the box. However, what we're seeing is full boxes of Waspinator and Shadow Panther. So doesn't seem to be a wave assortment this time around. We had also heard that Trax and one of the fossilizers, I think Ractonite, was going to be repacked in the wave assortment box, but that doesn't seem to have materialized. Probably because out of this wave, people are going to want Waspinator and Shadow Panther more. So it does Hasbro more of a service to actually serve solid crates of them to retailers. So yeah, those guys have turned up around the world. They are turning up in Asia in the next week or so as well. So yeah, we'll be looking to import some of those soon. Locally, we also have we've seen a lot of release of the Worlds Collide sets at Toy World stores. People who are listening to the podcast in August would have heard us say tell people that they're coming to Toy World and Mr. Toys, which is actually the same thing, and you would have seen us post up information in the group about that set going to those stores. There had been information going around that they were going to turn up at Maya and Hobby Co, which is a hobby store in Sydney. That doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like the Toy World release is the go. And I just want to also give a big thank you to everyone in our community who has been sharing sighting information when the figures are found in stores, especially this set, because people haven't been able to buy it overseas and import it. It didn't get a wide release around the world. So the fact that it's turned up on store shelves here and people are letting people know, and people are going out and buying sets and posting them to each other, and it's really good. I'm really, really happy to see such a happy, friendly, healthy community. Under our feet, it's a nice little grassroots movement. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. And Starscream just fell over at the thought of me being happy. I do also want to mention, if you are looking for Kingdom Wave 3, and a lot of people are at the moment, it's pretty patchy with retail releases at the moment because different parts of the country are in lockdown. But you will find that figures like Predacon Scorponok, Wingfinger, Rhinox, and I'm less clear about the others. Trax and Wheeljack are the other figures in Wave 3. I'm not sure about Trax and Wheeljack, but the others they're definitely all on Amazon. So unless you have a pressing need to actually find something in the stores, if you've got a bit of FOMO and you're worried about missing out on those figures, go to Amazon. I think the Deluxes are $35, the Voyager is $50, and you'll get free shipping if you've got Amazon Prime. So you may as well do it. Having said that, also there are a couple of sales going on around the country at the moment. Pop Culture is having a big sale. We don't talk about Pop Culture a lot. Most of the time, the stuff that they have is maybe a little bit higher priced than we would like. But
collector prices.
No. Look, it's not always. I bought my Zateki Zateki Transformers figures from there. They do have sales as well. They're having a 20% off in stock Hasbro items sale at the moment. So there's plenty of things there that can actually turn into quite a good deal. The Ark is in stock. It's $300. You take 20% off that, and it becomes $240, which suddenly is the best price in the country. So it's maybe it's expensive usually, but if you take 20% off those prices, they suddenly can become pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, so Pop Culture is not the only place having a sale at the moment. Big W is also having a toy sale at the moment, which is a sign for those of us in lockdown that school holidays have come. You may not realise, but yes, we've seen people posting that they've been able to get the Studio Series 86 litre slug for $69, I think, which is a nice discount off the regular litre price.
Nice.
So yeah. With that said and done, it's time to talk about one of the biggest pieces of Transformers news in the last couple of weeks, and I say this laughingly because I've had a roller coaster of reactions to this. The latest, and I say latest, like these things are coming thick and fast now, right? Like I feel like there's a collab every other month. I think the last one was Balvintron. That was 2 months ago. That one's not really a massive release. The Jurassic Park collab is coming out in October, and so is this one. This is a new one, a Universal Monsters Dracula collaborative, which was mentioned on Amazon Australia a good few months ago and caused a lot of speculation. I think rightly so. Everyone assumed that it was going to be a repaint of Mindwipe. It is a repaint of Mindwipe. I say Mindwipe, I mean Titans Return Mindwipe. And so they've removed the headmaster gimmick. The head now folds into the chest. So the head no longer comes out and transforms. And the biggest news of all is that he now comes with a cape. And I say this. I say this somewhat mockingly, but the cape is kind of a big thing. People, I've been talking about a few things. I was talking with a few people about this, and people are generally, or they're just humouring me. People are generally pretty down on this until you tell them it comes with a cape. We also have a picture of the box on screen. The box, I think this speaks more to the Universal Monsters tie-in than anything else. The box has a cute retro VHS video cassette feel to it, which, oh my goodness, when you look at this, it's can you remember just how much plastic went into a single VHS cassette tape? Like, look at it. There's ridges, there's parts that move around and everything. Like these things were huge amounts of plastic, and we used them for so long in our lives. So the box has a it's got the Draculus is the name of the figure. Draculus, it's got his cape. There's a couple of guns because he is a Decepticon. Yes, he is a Decepticon. It says on the box. And of course, story-wise, like he is a mashup of Transformers and Dracula. So if Dracula was a Transformer, he would be Draculus. So,
is this a bad time to say that I've got over 400 VHS in a collection to shed?
No. I just found it interesting. I was struck looking at the box and looking at the size of, because I think the box might be the size of a VHS cassette, and looking at the size of a VHS cassette in terms of the amount of plastic that was used in it versus the figure that we're now sort of pretending is part of this thing as well. I like there's it's a much smaller figure. There's less plastic in the figure than there was in a single VHS tape. And
also, looking at the image,
we're trying to use less tape, less plastic.
Does that have almost a Frankenstein appearance with just the way those ties are across the arms, waist, and legs?
It kind of does. There's two things to unpack there. One, we're very likely to get a Frankenstein out of this well, because Frankenstein is a universal monster. We should actually correctly call it Frankenstein's monster, because as Crichton will tell you in Red Dwarf, Frankenstein was the creator, not the monster. It's a common misconception.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're very likely to see other figures in this line. I have to say, this thing got revealed, I think last Friday night. This thing got revealed as a part of Target US's Geek Out Week or something like that. Target Fall Geek Out. And I distinctly recall seeing this and just going, no. No. I even posted on Twitter, not into it. Do not need this at all. It's just not what I was looking for in the collab line.
It's a nice
8
display piece, but
8
yeah.
hours passed, and now I'm totally into it. I've ordered it. It's on the way. I love it. Do you know what it was that made the difference? Yeah,
What's that?
What's that?
It's the cape.
Okay.
It's the cape. Look at the cape. Look at the cape. He's like a little bat wearing a cape. What's not to like about it? Let's see if we can find a proper robot mode photo with a cape. Nope, you can't. So yeah, maybe the cape is only good for the bat mode. I don't know. Either way, I gotta say, having come around to this, like so the other thing that actually brought me around to him is like his price is actually not that I say not that unreasonable, which implies it still is unreasonable. But he's a deluxe figure. He's a retool of a years old deluxe figure. His price point in the US, at least, is $31 US. Regular deluxes in the US are about 20 to 22, so he's like a 50% premium over a regular deluxe figure. That's not too bad for what is really a special edition, right? Like, they've put a lot of effort into the packaging. They've put a lot of effort into the cape, let's be honest. Like, come on, fabric is not free. So, yeah, I really came around when I realized that the price was not insane, and it's like he's gonna look sort of at home with the rest of the Misfits on my shelf, which are where all my collaboratives live. And I wonder too, though, I may have to get a bigger shelf.
Wonder too, though, how many people are going out to their Target store, if you still have one, and buying his friends the other Titans Return figures in their G1 boxes that are also out at $35, $36. As well.
I also wonder if we're going to get more collaborations like this. Are they also going to use other figures from the same line, like Wolfwire or Weird Wolf seems like a shoe-in for a werewolf.
Werewolf, yeah.
Right. I'm less certain. So I'm less certain about what we would do for a. I'm less certain about what we would do for Frankenstein. However, Rob Franklin, watching along on YouTube, says a Frankenstein monster mashup with Transformers would make for a great Pretender figure.
It's already a fantastic song. Monster Mash.
Yeah, yes, fair
it
enough.
Wasn't
This is
very
true.
Smash.
I heard it was a graveyard smash. Yes, I can confirm that it was a graveyard smash. I hear a lot of people did it as well.
Yes.
So yeah. Anyway, Draculus is heading for a fairly rapid release. He's currently due out in October in Asia and November in the US, unknown about the rest of the world. I do want to call out the fact that when this was revealed, Few tweeted that it really should be released on October 31st. Unfortunately, they've missed that release window by a month.
Missed a trick.
Try again. Yeah, missed a trick with that. That I agree. It really should have been the release date. It would have been the coolest tie-up for it.
See, I think if they had put it out on that date, then I actually would have been Halloween drunk and instantly ordered it.
Well, they would have still announced it now, but if they could get it into stores on that day, that would have been cooler. But yeah. So yeah.
So we're only waiting to see the Amazon truck now that we learned earlier.
That's true. The only collab that we've heard of that hasn't really manifested yet is the Amazon Prime. You're right. I feel like it might be next week. I feel like there might be a couple more collabs waiting in the wings with Universal Monsters. We'll see how that goes. I feel like they're not going to. I feel like they won't milk that out every few months. I think they'll try and release them sooner. But we'll see.
Yeah, we've already come up with a couple of the others. So
looking at the top of the box, I can also see that there is there's a Dracula 90 anniversary on the top of the box, which might also explain why they've gone for Dracula and not other Universal monsters. So maybe it's less of a maybe it's actually less of a Universal Monsters range of collabs, and it's more, hey, it's Dracula's anniversary, let's celebrate that. You mentioned the Jurassic Park collab as well. That is due for release next
No, I
month.
didn't.
I'm sure you did.
I'm not talking about that.
Oh, okay. Well, you did, but you don't want to talk about it. It is due for release next month. It does appear we've been bamboozled a little bit by the price when it was first. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say revealed, but when it was first leaked on Amazon Australia, it was available for pre-order for I think about $92, and it then has shot up to about $190. And we keep saying that we're hoping that it will still be sold at the original price. It does appear that the high price is the real price. So that's quite an ask for a leader class figure and a deluxe to sort of go to the price of 2 and a bit leader class figures. So little bit disappointing on the price there, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, see what happens with that.
Rob also points out that if you wrap up Transmutate in white cloth, you would have the money. So, I wonder if we might see a whole set of the other Universal Monsters. We'll see.
Do it.
All right. Okay. So Draculus, I'm in. I know a lot of people are in, actually. How about you guys, Daria?
Probably if the price came down a bit or if I found him cheaper, because I do like the idea, but I'm also aware that for me, part of the novelty would be going, hey, look, a Dracula Transformer. And I'm not sure if that would just wear off after a while.
Yeah, I think the lower price would probably help that novelty factor stay a little bit fresh. So yeah, no.
I also have to say it's not the cape that's persuading me; it's his little tuxedo thing.
I know so we haven't really talked about that. Like, being that he's not Mind Wipe in that he's just like Mind Wipe pretending to be Dracula. Like he is. It's actually hard to get a proper photo. There we go. He is actually he's a repaint and rework of Mind Wipe into sort of a black and red color scheme. And yes, he does have a little tuxedo, or at least it looks like he's wearing a little suit jacket at least. But yes,
and a little waistcoat.
Possibly, yeah, a little waistcoat. Does this make him the best dressed Transformer ever?
Oh,
Could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, didn't Grimlock used to have a trench coat and a hat?
No, but he had a chef's hat and an apron.
Oh, the chef's apron. Yes. Yeah. All right, I'll still argue that's the best.
Oh no, I don't know. I think the waistcoat takes the. I mean, like you can go formal in a waistcoat, right? Like you can't. It
is classy.
Turn up, yeah. I mean, if you turn up to a formal function wearing the chef's apron, people will assume you work there. Also, it's weird that there's a giant robot dinosaur at their function, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Draculus, I'm in for it. Brad, what do you think?
At least he is the one Universal monster that does actually transform.
It's true. He didn't need to be a collab.
No. I love the look of the box and that. It'd be a great display piece or to have on a table at a convention, but no, it's not something I'd look at for my own collection.
Fair enough. I'm out on a limb and someone's going to cut it off under me. We'll see how we go. Anyway, we'll see how people like it when I've got it next month, and see whether or not you like it then, eh? No one will like it. It's okay. I know.
We've already seen the figure. It's a repaint.
Yeah, it is a repaint. Like they've even left his Titan weapon in with him, but like the head doesn't come off to pilot it anyway. Whatever. He comes with a gun anyway, so Anywho, let's move on. We also have a number of leaks and looks at upcoming figures that we're going to breeze through these for a little while and spend some time with them. We usually just to talk briefly about where these come from, like, how are YouTubers getting a hold of these things and taking, such detailed videos and stuff of them? They're stolen. They're just stolen from the factory. Someone's stealing toys from the factory and they're selling them. And that's as simple as it is. And so the YouTubers are buying stolen toys and putting videos up and hoping that the amount of page views that they get offsets the purchase price of the toy.
And
Simple
any
as that.
ramifications that may come from where
Apparently
that figure
nothing.
come from.
Apparently
Yeah,
nothing.
so-
Yet. Well, I mean, like, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to tell where they got it from. So yeah, or at
Yeah.
least how they got it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, what we have is there's been a couple of notable. I keep saying leaks, but yeah, and a couple of notable sort of looks at figures in this way. And this one interests me the most personally because it's Shattered Glass. So we have Shattered Glass Jetfire on screen here. I'm not sure if this was from. I'm not sure which YouTuber this was from. I kind of don't even want to say because it's a stolen figure, but it is a really interesting look at the figure. It is of course the Commander class Jetfire, repainted in black and purple and translucent green, which really does make him look pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty slick looking figure. We're giving him that.
It really is.
Did the original one have the transparent blue cockpit in that, or was it just a plastic, non-transparent piece?
No, it was transparent. Transparent blue, I believe.
Yep.
He's in a box at my feet. I still haven't opened. It's become a running joke. Like it's now become, like, how long can Jason go without opening Siege Jetfire? Mark my words, I will probably open the Shattered Glass Jetfire before the Siege one, or I might open them both on the same day so that I can actually take a photo of them side by side. We'll see how we go. So all of this aside, he pretty much looks like what we expect, right? Like everything on Jetfire that's white is now black. The red highlights are now purple, and he looks evil.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty much what I expected from a Shattered Glass Jetfire, and I am in no way disappointed by that. So
Nah, it looks fantastic.
agree. Looks fantastic. I am looking forward to getting him. I believe he might be due for release in November, but it might also be December. Not entirely sure. So yeah, we'll see how he goes. The other notable leak that came out this week was these guys. We currently only have one of these figures on the market at the moment. We've got Huffer. At the moment, we did know that Huffer was going to be released, be retooled into pipes, and this week we also had heard that we'd heard that Puffer and Road Ranger were also on the release schedule, and there's been a lot of discussion going on around the fandom about what exactly Puffer and Road Ranger represent, because they're regional variants of Huffer and Pipes that were in select markets. So they're a deep cut as far as franchise nostalgia goes. And I think it's pretty cool to actually see these characters brought in as actual characters rather than just sort of obscure repaints. And so I mean, evolution-wise, Huffer has been retooled as Pipes. And then he's been repainted as Shadow Ranger. Did I say Road Ranger? Not Shadow. Sorry. Road Ranger is the. Like you could imagine that he's called Shadow because he's black. The guy on the right is what I'm talking about. So yeah, Road Ranger is closer to Huffer, and Puffer is closer to Pipes. And in fact, I kind of prefer Puffer's color scheme to Pipes, even because I feel like Pipes has a little too much dark blue on him. But I also kind of don't care because the Huffer mold in Kingdom Huffer mold is so much fun to play with, and like he's really fun to play with and pose, and give him big guns to carry. Huffer's gun is also notable as well. And so the fact that they're going to repaint it 3 times in the same year. It's simply this year's cow. It's this year's Starscream. I'm really happy for them to do this. Please give me all the Huffers that you can. We did say earlier that Pipes is expected to be in Kingdom Wave 4. Whether Wave 4 happens as a wave now, or if it sort of splits and becomes Wave 4 and Wave 5, we don't really know. But I think we can expect to see Pipes in the next maybe 2 months come to release. We had also heard that there is, I think they called a Golden Disc collection, the contents of which have not really been announced so far, but we are expecting to see Puffer and Road Ranger released as a 2-pack under that Golden Disc moniker. Whether or not that really happens now, or if they just sort of become Gen Selects, we'll find out. The fact that these guys have turned up in leaks, and they're pretty finished out of the factory, which means they're getting ready to be packed up and sold around the world. I think these guys are pretty close to being announced. So we'll see what we see in the next few days. Brad, what are your thoughts?
I still need to pick up Huffer. For all the praise it's got, I'd love to get it. I'm going to Tarjay tomorrow. I'll see what's in there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, well, I love Pipes, so I'm definitely getting him. Yeah, the regional variant guys, for want of a better word. I guess, like you said, depends how they're actually going to release them. Whether they're going to sort of be one of those, run of hardly any selects, or if they're going to become more accessible. They both look very nice in these pictures, and yeah,
I'm really there for the colors. Like, both of them have a different color palette. Like Puffer's color palette is sort of very restrained, but Road Ranger is just really out there with all that orange and red and black. It's so cool.
Yeah, for that black and I was almost surprised they didn't flip him over to be a Decepticon. But everyone here is an Autobot. We can see their crest. Well, except for Pipes, we know he's an Autobot because he's Pipes.
That's true. Yeah.
And at first, actually, I thought Puffer was Pipes, because the first time I saw these pictures, they weren't labelled properly.
Well, so I kind of feel like they've put more effort into Puffer than they have into Pipes, and yeah, I could see Puffer being sort of like a bit of a reimagining of Pipes, and sort of this larger, more articulate stance. But no, that's definitely Pipes in the middle. So yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I might not have seen Pipes knowing he's Pipes until just now. Now I think about it, but also yeah, he's only, except for the wheels, he's only dark blue and white. He doesn't have any red in his eyes. He doesn't have any silver in his legs or his arms.
No.
I mean, so he, at the very least, he has eyes, but that's about the only variant. So, yeah.
Yeah, and they're also blue, so
Yeah.
it's not really enough to make him pop.
At least they're not the same blue, but yeah. Anywho, look, this is another set. This is another set that I'm pretty in for. Like, I'm a fan of these figures. I'm looking forward to getting them. So, yeah. All right, let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about the gimme, which is that. Actually, Brad, do you want to talk about this one?
Oh yes. Well, I am a famed pin collector, and going after a Cyberverse Bumblebee, I just thought it'd be an instant. I'm sorry, the dog's just farted. Excuse me. Yeah, I know it was you. Jason, you're also after pins.
Well, I'm just gonna put myself up full screen while we're talking about this story. Please do continue to talk about the pins. Go on.
I'm guessing you've got several there you're going to display. Oh, you've already got it. Oh, and it wasn't just Bumblebee. You had Megatron as well.
Yeah, so this is weird, right?
Yes.
We've talked about this story before. I don't quite understand. I feel like this has been a reissue that Pinfinity seems to have gotten press for. Because I ordered these at the start of the year.
Oh wow! So they're really old.
Yeah, they're really old, but I've seen this story echo around the news sites in the last week or so. And so there we go. There's Bumblebee and there's Megatron. And I've got Bumblebee and Megatron in my hands. I don't really understand. I don't understand why this is news, but it's definitely come out in the last week or so. I like. Sorry. When you scan the you scan the thing. You basically, the way that these work, they are AR pins. In fact, if we watch the video, we might get a YouTube takedown notice, but we'll see how we go.
Careful.
But so you point the app at the pin, and you see the pin sort of comes to life.
I was going to say, what's happening? Is it an LCD pin?
No. This is the app overlaying the data over it, right? So like, there's all this stuff that happens, and ultimately, that's it.
Oh.
It's cool, but it's kind of limited. And like, ultimately, I collect Transformers pins because I like the designs, and I do like the designs of these pins. The AR stuff is a cute bonus, but like, it is not something that I really. It's not something that I'm going to sit there and go to someone. Oh, hey, do you like this pin? Here, go to Google Play, install this app, sign in, blah blah blah, create your account, and then point the thing at my pin, because like by that time they're gone, they're bored, no one cares.
Yeah.
But like, it's cool, but that's all it does. It's like you're basically paying like an extra $5 or $10 for the ability for your phone to do something to the pin. But yeah,
You just jam the pin in the top of a pen and just Bumblebee animate it that way.
yes, you can.
Well, you don't, but anyway.
Yes. So yeah, it's interesting. Oh, it actually says you can download 2 mobile phone wallpapers for the scan character because,
Yay.
change my wallpaper. Yeah, fair enough. That's cool. Actually, that is an interesting point. One thing that I've noticed here is that the numbers on these pins are actually 3 and 4, which implies somewhere there's a 1 and 2. And this story from TFW that we've got on screen here actually does say you can get Optimus Prime and Nemesis Prime if you're a member of Pinfinity's subscription service. And I'm sorry, I really don't need to sign up for a subscription service.
Service for pins.
Someone get me those pins and send them to me. Thank you. I don't think I need them. But I mean, I want them, but I don't think I need them. And I do think that it's funny that this story has resurfaced. I wonder if Pinfinity has just sort of taken on a new PR company and they've just sent out a bit of a PR blitz to everyone going, hey, we've got this stuff, and they're just not mentioned. It's not new.
Yeah. Weird.
Anywho, thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about Transformers pins once again. If anyone finds any interesting Transformers pins, I do have a lot of people in the local and overseas Transformers community conditioned to link me to pins anytime new Transformers pins are discovered. So I please do encourage you to do so. Hit me up on Twitter at JM77 and tell me that you found a cool Transformers pin. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's all right. Whenever I want to put a statue news in the run sheet, I'm sure we can.
It's all right.
Share credits.
I gladly took the pin story and I killed the statue story, but maybe we'll talk about statues next week. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
Right. It
For
is
new
also
listeners,
time.
This is not the first time they've had that conversation.
No.
Yes. It is it is also time to check in on the Victory Saber crowdfund, which was announced, I think about 3 weeks ago now, with the goal of reaching 11,000 backers to send the figure into production. We are looking at a Commander class Star Saber and Victory Leo, to be produced sort of as Generations Chug figures. And so it's a US 180 crowdfund. It's nothing like the size and scale of the Unicron HasLab project. But Daria, I believe you've got the campaign page on the Hasbro Pulse website up there. Can you give us an update on how it's going, please?
Yep, bang up to date because I just hit refresh. 7,926 backers.
Ooh.
Okay,
And
so
that
basically
is-
8,000, yeah.
And that is with 23 days, 15 hours, and 40 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, so it's not quite halfway through time wise, but it's looking pretty good. I've been told by various people that like Hasbro really wants this to happen, so like it's going to happen. But also I think there's also this does tap into quite a lot of the Asian collector market as well, because a lot of people are more familiar with this series in the East than we are in the West, and so. A lot of us know Star Saber, but don't really know from the series very much. So yeah, I do think that the orders around toy stores around Southeast Asia are going to be huge, and I don't think they come into play until the end of the campaign. So we'll see how that goes.
That's how most of them worked last time for Unicron, so I can't imagine it'd be significantly different this time. And yeah, I think I'm going to order them through EB Games so I can make that deposit and pay it off because it's a mortal price and not the small mortgage that was Unicron. And I've got a thing for Star Saber because I used to read Transmasters UK and he was a major character in that, although very different from his TV counterpart, but enough to dictate his way into my heart.
Fair enough too. Yeah.
I wonder how
I'm going to back it. You're going to back it. So our numbers don't count yet. Brad, are you going to back it, or did you just want to ask a question?
No, he's not really. I haven't even got the Masterpiece Star Saber, so it's not really something I'd be after. But I do wonder if it's at 8,000 now, they still want 9,000 more just to get this little perk, which is the stand.
Yes, that's true. So the actual story here today is that the second unlock. So I think they said that at 11,000 backers, I think the gun is unlocked, and now today they've announced that at 17,000.
Oh, blast effects! There's also blast effects.
Oh yeah, I think they come with it anyway. Or do they just come with the gun?
No, I think there might be a separate tier.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. More blast effects. I do like me some blast effects, but like adding them as a tier on the crowdfund. Look, straight up, like I'm like I think the character designer stuff is cool, but I also think with 23 days to go, they really need to show this thing in color. It's not cool that we're only looking at CAD designs and stuff like that. In fact, I do think there's a photo of the prototype with the stand up there. I like the fact that the stand has the cool
blast
Victory
effects
logo and stuff like that, and there's the blast effects as well, and the gun as well. I really thought that the blast effects might have been part of the gun tier, but not sure.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I think that
is actually a cool look at how it sort of looks sitting on the flight stand as well. Like, okay, I'm actually also I'm going to draw attention to this. It's sitting on some kind of a powered thing to rotate it, and you can see the power cords plugged in on the bottom left.
That's shoddy.
Early model show and final product may vary. Maybe that'll be the third stretch goal, is you'll get the little rotating electronic Lazy Susan. Also interesting that I think that's also how Chefitron does his or either Chefitron or Prime versus Prime does their YouTube videos. So yeah.
Funnily enough, everyone has an issue with the original 07 movie Megatron being a mess when this looks just as bad in jet mode anyway. But
I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it looks like.
I think it's because it's all the one color.
I think you need to remember, like, it's a great prototype, so it shows up a lot of different shades than the painted version will, and so
wouldn't it be fantastic if this is how it comes out? and you have to paint it yourself.
Hopefully not, but yes. I don't want to paint my Transformers. We'll see how we go. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, digital render show, and thanks a bunch, guys. Just get this thing out.
It's a stand. Yeah.
Yes. Notably, it does have two positions. One to sort of hold up, I assume, the robot mode, and one to hold the flight, the jet mode, the alt mode. So, like it does. From the photos here, it looks pretty big and sturdy. HasLab, I think, knows what they're doing with stands. And I'll be honest, I was pretty impressed with how the stand for Unicron worked. So, like, yeah, if you want to make the stand a tier, cool, that's fine. Let's make it a tier.
Well, it was important for that figure because you could transform it while it was on the stand.
Well, for
Correct.
Unicron, you had to.
Yeah.
I mean, you really needed something to hold it up, so the stand was cool for that.
Yeah.
For this, like, as Galactus was reaching the end of its campaign, they blew through a couple of stretch goals on their things, and they were like full Marvel Legends figures, and so like we really need to see something cooler to add onto this for a stretch goal than just a stand. Like, you know, there's got to be. I feel like there needs to be more to it, but also at the same time, like I said, I feel like it's going to be produced anyway. I think it's going to make its 11,000. I don't know if it'll get to 17,000. We'll see. We will see what we see.
Mm.
Alrighty, let's go off to the next story as well, which is one that I put in as a little thing that I wanted to discuss, which is these little dudes. They're Transformers mini mates. Now these are I've put these in for a particular reason. There's been a lot of discussion of like little versions of Transformers characters going around lately. We saw X-Transbots reveal their masterpiece scale Perceptor a few weeks ago, and along with the look at that came a look at their little tiny little scale figures, because they call to mind the episode of the cartoon where everyone was shrunk down. And so that was cool. That's really good with that. We also now have large play sets like the Titans and things like that. So getting small versions of these characters in somewhat articulated form, like you can move these guys and you can pose them around. I think that's kind of cool when you've got, say a Titan on display, maybe in city mode. You can these guys are sort of out of scale with that, but I think it gives you a nice opportunity to put some things on display. There is the other reason I wanted to mention these is because there are actually a few options for display characters for Titan sets and the like going around at the moment. I don't actually have photos of them up, but there's a couple of series. There's one that you can buy on AliExpress, and some of them are in robot mode, some of them are in vehicle mode, and they're these tiny little representations of these characters. And like, if you wanted to have Metroplex sitting around in city mode, you could put all the G1 cast in car mode on him, and like have them drive around. It's just it's a cool way to build a diorama, build a bit of a display, and it's a nice way to just sort of have some figures that will be roughly in scale with those Titans. I mentioned the ones that you can get off AliExpress. I'm doing myself a complete disservice because I can't really remember how you find them on AliExpress either. There's a particular thing that you need to search for. I'm not sure if Jacob Babick is watching the live stream. Jacob is actually watching the live stream. I can see comments from him on the stream. He might mention in the comments, and we can put it up in the chat. We'll see how it goes. I've sent that out into the ether, and we'll see whether or not he comments back. So yeah, I thought these were kind of cool. There's a couple of other projects going on around the fandom. There's people who are putting up 3D printed projects where they'll 3D print these tiny little figures, and they'll paint them. And it's really expensive if you want to acquire a set that way. There's particular people around the fandom who will sell them to you. And I was like, if you wanted to get, say, a G1 cartoon cast, it's going to cost you like close to like $400 or $500.
But that's if you go the full cast. Like we've talked over the years, your Warren Pockets, your World's Smallest, all these little figures that you could have in your office space, on your computer, whatever else, where, funnily enough, thank you, COVID, you're now sitting in your office space, so you've got your full collection.
Yes.
And don't need the little figures, but just having these little guys, no matter whether non-transformer little figures, PVC little figures like this, I'm guessing, or your transformable ones that you could play around with while you're waiting for an email to load. It just, there's definitely a market there for them.
So, I think there's definitely a market for these. So these guys, they don't transform, but they are somewhat articulated. Like you can turn their heads and you can move their arms and legs, which I think is, like, considering what they are, I reckon that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah.
Also, that almost super deformed sort of chibi look as well. So definitely cartoony, matching the cartoon.
That's true. Like the larger head on them, it really brings out the personality of the character.
Yeah, which sort of suits the I can't remember who done them now. They weren't the Mighty Mugs and that, but the other little figures that come out, and they also got KO'd as well.
So do you mean the ones that came out for the 30th anniversary? The blind pack ones?
Possibly. I know there was a Prime, there was a B, there was a Megatron, Starscream.
I think weren't they actually called Titans? Isn't that the
the
over? I think that's the over brand, as it were, because I think they did some Doctor Who ones as well.
Oh, do you mean the world's smallest ones?
No,
they were originally branded as World's Smallest, but now they've come out as someone else. Again, they were like little figures in packs. And they didn't look a thing like the original G1 cartoon, G1 boxes, but yeah, they're fun anyway. I think they've been rebranded as something Tiny Titans or something, but yeah. I just wanted to also point out that someone's taken it upon themselves with this Mini-Mates box to write their own introduction to Transformers on the back of it. Like, there's no prescribed text from Hasbro for this. It says Transformers are living human-like robots with the unique ability to turn into a vehicle or beasts. And turn into vehicles or beasts, that's right. The stories of their lives, their hopes, their struggles, and their triumphs are chronicled in epic sagas. That's good. They've embraced multiple series. Blah blah blah. And then it says at the very bottom, figures do not transform, and that's how you know it's not written by Hasbro, because Hasbro would say figures do not convert. Dear. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from the Mini-Mates.
You know what these have? We haven't seen in a while. Recycled Dreamwave art.
Actually, you know, I did notice that when I was looking at this. That artwork is actually doing the rounds at the moment, and I'm not entirely sure that it's Dreamwave art, because I'm going to talk about pins again for a minute.
Well, that is Bumblebee from Dreamwave, because that's in his profile book.
Right. Okay. So that artwork is the artwork that's being used for the Bumblebee fig pin at the moment. I think I haven't seen it because Figpin made it fucking US exclusive to Target. So I now have to pay like twice the price in order to acquire a Figpin. Thanks a lot, Figpin. But the Starscream artwork is also the Figpin Starscream artwork, and that's Bumblebee's Figpin. So it's sort of like, you know, this is the 2021 artwork for licensing. You know, like if you license things, then this is the artwork that they give you to use.
Well, kind of like how back in the 1980s, it was all the box art over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I was surprised. I'm surprised that it's the Dreamwave artwork. But you know, like they've dug into the archives and they've given it a reflection up. You know. Yeah,
I remembered because much as it's trendy to pile on Dreamwave, I do like that Bumblebee picture, and so I remember it from the really profile books. The
Starscream artwork is also good too. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. We have a little bit of movie news to close us out, which is that the new film Rise of the Beasts is heading to Peru to film. So it says the regional manager of tourism in Cuzco, which is I think that's a city. Yes. Says Cuzco's main square, the sacred valley of the Incas. So watch out. We can expect that Incan monuments are going to be destroyed by Rise of the Beasts, and Machu Picchu. It looks like they're filming. They filmed last week because we're a little bit late with this news. Notably, I did actually see Andrew Griffith, IDW comic artists, pretty happy on Twitter that they were filming in Peru because he lives in Peru. I really hope that at some point we're going to find him sitting in the background of a scene as an extra somewhere. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's been plenty of videos up with some of the cars cruising around city streets and that all over the place. Two of the main cast were seen at Machu Picchu filming. Obviously, there's probably going to be some sort of robot presence there as well. But I'm just amazed how remote they're going. Obviously, staying COVID free as well by just going to the middle of nowhere to film in such a iconic area. So.
It's interesting. I wonder if that's a COVID thing, or it kind of strikes me as it's kind of a more beast related thing.
Well, either way, it's very remote. So if there's something undiscovered there, Predacons or whatever they're calling them, that's probably a chance that there's something there that's not undiscovered yet. So
it does stand to reason.
Yeah.
All right. So look, there's a little bit of update of Rise of the Beasts. We're still. I don't think it's been confirmed whether or not that's the story from a few weeks ago about it coming out at the end of next year versus the middle of next year has been confirmed yet. But I feel like that's probably not something we'll see confirmed for a little while yet. But I kind of do expect if they're still filming it, I expect them to take a year to finish the effect on it. So. Fair enough.
Especially with the backlog of movies now that they're being pushed back and everything else, they're not going to.
Oh yeah, cinema release dates are all over the place.
Yeah,
really good point. Speaking of things that COVID has affected, we're also going to talk about this one quickly. Paramount Pictures, who usually takes on the production for Transformers movies and distribution. Paramount Pictures is restructuring to focus more on their streaming service. Now, Paramount Plus has launched in recent weeks. It has, like most streaming services that launch around the world, it has a slightly different catalogue in different countries because Paramount's licensing rights for particular movies are gone to different partners in different places in different countries. I think we have two Transformers movies on Paramount Plus in Australia. I think there's also
that I can check for you right now as well.
Okay, cool. And I think there's still a Transformers movie on Netflix in Australia as well. So I think this is the kind of thing where like eventually they'll probably bring all of their things home there once licenses and things expire. But so the news that's come out is that they're going to be focusing production more on things that are going to go onto their streaming service, and they're probably going to be lower budget. So they are not spending as much money on them. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to production budgets and how much money certain things make when it comes to streaming media versus say a cinema release. We've seen Scarlett Johansson has sued Disney for the simultaneous release of Black Widow in cinemas and on Disney Plus around the world because she was getting a cut of the box office takings, but she doesn't get a cut of the takings on Disney Plus when people pay for the movie. And we're in lockdown in Sydney, so like if you wanted to watch Black Widow, you've paid for it on Disney Plus and not gone to the movies. So there's a lot to go on about how much money can be made from making movies and selling them online, but there's also I think there's a general trend towards streaming productions. Productions that are streaming first probably don't have the budget of everything else. I think this could be the end of massive, hundreds of millions of dollars budgets going on Transformers movies. We kind of saw we saw a cut down budget for a Transformers movie with Bumblebee a few years ago. So yeah, I think,
look where that got us.
well, so it got us back to a big budget Transformers movie with Rise of the Beasts, didn't it?
We'll see.
But this is. I mean, if you write a story that can be done for a lower budget, then maybe it's more likely to actually be produced. It's also, I think, going to lead to an evolution in effects, and people are going to want to do more with their effects on lower budgets. Has been there's in the comment, it says Paramount Plus comments on the live stream, says Paramount Plus has Transformers 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing here too.
Yeah, currently looking at Netflix, they have, of course, the Siege, Kingdom, and Earthrise cartoons. Rescue Bots, Cyberverse, only season 1 of Prime. Fuck you, Netflix. And and the new RID.
It's only what, like 11 or 12 years old now. Like, why would they have more than one season of it?
Well, they used to have the other seasons, and they took them away. That's what makes it worse.
Yeah, and they show Beast Hunters Optimus Prime on the image from season 3, and they don't have season 3 on there. So
fair enough. Same user in our chat has pointed out Amazon Prime has all 5 movies available to rent.
Yeah, and of course you can purchase them from Apple as well.
Yes, yeah. A lot of things. If it's available for rent, it's generally on multiple services. I would say the fact that Last Night is not on Paramount is probably a sign that it's on some other service somewhere, and they're waiting for that contract to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
anyway,
in Australia, we don't even have the big thing they're selling it for in America is saying it's got all the Star Treks on it, and we've got two of the new movies, and that's it.
Yeah, well, so that's kind of the thing, is that like Star Trek Discovery was produced under CBS All Access, but the majority of it is funded by Netflix. So it's on Netflix here.
It's Amazon Prime.
No, Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery is definitely on Netflix, but Picard is on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. And
that's his Lower Decks.
Yeah, right as well.
Yep.
And yeah, so like those,
again, everywhere.
Yeah. It's
licensing.
It's all over the place because they've been licensed out to various places.
Yeah.
What you'll probably see, and this is like companies do this these days. They don't license things out in perpetuity. Like you'll see those contracts expire, and they'll just sort of silently go back to Paramount Plus. It might not be while the shows are still in production, but like eventually it will happen.
Well, now you'll never be able to watch another Disney program unless you have Disney Plus. It's all pulled back to the mouse of the house.
It's not yet. It's not yet.
It's like getting there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it'll happen eventually.
Yeah.
But it's not yet. And what you'll probably find is that Disney will probably enter into particular agreements that will make something more exclusive for a partner over time. So they'll probably want to put something on another service, but then they'll probably just pull those rights back after a couple of years. Transformers The Last Night is not available for streaming anyway, so someone could be sitting on those rights, but you can rent and buy on Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft. Not sure about Google.
One lucky person is protecting the world from the horror that is The Last Night.
Yeah. One Transformers fan has purchased the streaming rights to The Last Night and just refuses to do anything with them. Thank you to that person. Not all heroes wear capes, but Dracula's does. All right, I think we've milked the news quite enough now. So I'm gonna knock us out of the news view and return us to the 3-up, and we're going to briefly talk acquisitions. We are running quite over time, but Daria, it's been a few weeks since we've had you on. Do you have any new acquisitions in that time?
No, nada actually.
Well, that was easy.
Bit of a lull.
Yeah, bit of a lull. Fair enough. Brad, how about yourself?
Nothing to show. Luckily, thank you to JasonImports.com. I've been able to purchase a couple of things, so I'll be able to show them over time. But went into. I don't know if I should still call it Target. Should we just call it the store that shouldn't exist or something? The locally.
We've talked about this many times.
Yeah, Dinobot, and B127 were in there, which I'm pretty sure I've got them anyway. So, yeah, nothing new to pick up. Waiting.
Fair enough too. I think with lockdowns and uncertainty around shipping things within Australia, I think we have seen a bit of a lull in Transformers releases. At least,
sorry,
not talking about Amazon.
Yeah, B127, not 127. The movie sucked. Get over it. Haters gonna hate.
Did you say 127, not 127? Like,
I said 127, not 127.
That's
the way it's pronounced.
I'm literally the meme with the woman from The Office saying they're the same picture.
It's like how you don't call James Bond 007.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect.
Yes. Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna take over because I'm just gonna say we're in the weeds on acquisitions.
Go full screen.
I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna click there and set myself full screen and just say there is an Earth mode sideswipe. He is from the Battle Across Time sideswipe and Skywarp 2-pack. He is everything that I wanted him to be and everything that I expected him to be since Red Alert was released a couple of months prior. So we all knew what we're getting with this mold. He's pretty cool. The colours on him pop. He's a much better looking sideswipe than we've seen from Siege and definitely from the Netflix repaint of the Siege one, which was just super dark. The red and the white on this, they just really pop. And there's no battle damage on it as well, so I can be surprised about that, right? To go with that, also, I'm just gonna hold this fella up as well, which is the Skywarp from the set, which is a repaint of Airraiser. Now, I came away from the Netflix Kingdom show quite a fan of Airraiser, but I don't have an Airraiser toy yet, so this is my first time handling the mold. It's got lots of like things that move around, and it's very posable. It's very articulated. So, I came away from this liking the figure a lot more than I expected to. So, really quite into it. And of course, I don't know if that's actually the case with the normal Airraiser mold, but being that it's Skywarp, I thought it was notable that there are arm-mounted cannons to point at things just like the Seekers of old.
Has he the same
No, I don't
head?
have.
No, I believe the head is slightly different. If I hold it up, maybe you can see it. I'm not sure.
Yep. Yeah, just went to focus. Yep. I see it now.
Pretty sure the head is different. But yeah. So yeah, pretty happy with Skywarp. I'm pretty happy with the set. In fact, it is not the first beast from Kingdom to grace my desk. I'm not sure if I had these guys out last podcast or not, but I've got the Worlds Collide Black Arachnia.
Mm.
Very nice reference to her original catalogue colours there with the let's be honest, completely bizarre leopard skin print bra. But yeah,
It was the 90s.
Yeah. So that is all you need to say. And the big where is the big guy? The big highlight for me from the Worlds Collide set was actually this guy, Nemesis Primal.
Yeah, he's the sleeper hit for a lot of people.
Yeah, very cool. Purple, teal, and black paint, and also the new head sculpt on him is a lot more sort of a Nemesis Primey. Just really fantastic. Really happy with him. Haven't bothered putting him in 8 mode. Don't really care. He does come with the more articulated hands that we've been seeing on some of the Voyagers in the series, so he can open his hands, which is handy because if it's somewhere around here, the set also comes with the tiniest Allspark, and the Allspark is paired up with Bumblebee in the set, which I'm just going to bring up. I'm just going to bring these guys up one at a time. I really like this Bumblebee. Like this Bumblebee from the Worlds Collide set, he's really cool. He is the cliff jumper mold done in yellow with the Bumblebee head sculpt, and that's all we've wanted to see in a Bumblebee release. Sure, it's great that they managed to do the Volkswagen in the Netflix line, but like this is all we needed. It's cool, and the Netflix one is almost impossible to get now. So I say the Netflix one's impossible to get because like you'll have to spend $70 or $80 on a deluxe, but you have to spend $150 to get this one. So like, at least you get other cool figures with it as well. So and the other figure from the set, I think Fangry's actually up on the shelf. Yeah, Fangry's sort of up here somewhere. he's up on display. There's one other figure that I will draw attention to that I have freed from his plastic surrounds in the last couple of weeks, and I really like this guy. It's the Studio Series 86 Nor. The little Sharkticon that could. I like. He's really cool. Just like the way that his limbs hold together and everything. Like he just looks like a little brawler. He's ready to get out there and fight anyone. So yeah, just really nice. And he's also got, if I hold that up there, he's got a really nice head sculpt and face sculpt on him there. It's not gonna focus. So I'm just gonna.
He's got too many teeth in front of him.
yeah. It's a toothy grin, turns out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, really fond of the Nor from the Studio Series 86 line. Haven't opened Wreck-Gar yet, but hopefully by this time next week, Nor will have had a ride on Wreck-Gar. We'll see how that goes. Oh gosh, that was a long walk through. A couple of acquisitions. Brad's acquired a tired dog.
Hey.
Don't make the dog bark. She's not a performing monkey.
She's out. She's out like a kite.
She's totally out.
You one.
So that is about it as far as things go for us this week. I should mention TCCA is in the midst of its first fundraiser for 2021. We have left it a little bit late to start off these things, but you will see a lot more of them in the coming weeks. Our first fundraiser is the Worlds Collide box set, which I've just gone through showing off individual figures from. It is a really cool set. I really like it. It's about $150 worth. It could be yours for a $5 purchase in our fundraiser. So you'll find the information about that in our Facebook group in the announcements section. Please do give to support the club and our chosen charity, which is the Royal Children's Hospital. 10% of all of our revenue goes straight to the Royal Children's Hospital. So by supporting us, you help support the hospital, and you get some cool stuff in the get-go as well. That is it for us. I don't think there's any other things we needed to mention. Does anyone have any last minute additions for us?
No, we'll just wait and see what the next week holds. If we're back next week, we're back. If not, it'll be the week after.
I think we have a couple of subjects that we wanted to sort of talk about. Larger discussion pieces. We've gone for an hour and a half talking about news again tonight, so tonight's not the appropriate venue for it. But yeah, we'll try on a quiet news week. We'll sort of try to do some long form discussions and see how we go.
Yep.
That is it. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you're watching along with the live recording, we can see a few people have been over the course of the recording session. Thank you for checking us out. You can find out more about these stories in our show notes. You'll find links to them all and more. You can catch us in Transformers Collectors Club Australia on Facebook. The podcast's website is transformersweekly.podbean.com, and we have a Facebook page called Australian Transformers Weekly. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers donating their time, effort, energy, money and Friday nights, even though we're in lockdown, to make Transformers collecting in Australia better for everyone. Our goal is to connect Transformers fans around the country, and we do it by engaging the collecting community, hopefully by making podcasts and things like that people listen to. And we like to go out to conventions when they're on and meet people. The last time we did that, had a blast at Supernova in Sydney. I can't wait to be able to get back to live conventions. You can find out more about the club and benefits of TCCA club membership and how to show your support for what we do at transformerscca.com. Going off world, you can find TCCA on Twitter at TransformersCCA. You can find me on Twitter at JM77. You can find Daria on Twitter at Vindaloo_Vixen. And Brad, you're even on Twitter as well. But I don't know your username. You're going to have to tell us.
Me at Brad Mull.
There we go. You can find Brad on Twitter at Brad Mull. I said I was going to put banners up for these and I forgot to set them up, so I need to remember that for next time. And you can also find the Budget Adventure Show on YouTube, also starring Brad. And the link to that is in the show notes as well. I think that's about it. It's going to be good. It's going to be goodbye from us. It's late on a Friday night, so thank you for watching us. And yeah, it's goodbye from me.
And from me.
Now I have to click the thing.
Do your job, Jason.
I said goodbye too fast. All right. Good night, everyone, and goodbye. And thank you for watching. Bye.
Clicky.